Hey guys, Sam here. Welcome back to the channel. Today is a very different kind of episode, something I had in mind for a while, but finally got round to it, is a day in the life for an online coach. So if you didn't realise, this is what I do. So this kind of thing that's on my channel, that is my whole life basically, and today I thought I'd showcase it and show a bit more of the work that I do. So this is day in life for online coaching. So it's first thing here. And the first task for me is seeing if there's any outstanding messages from clients. So I've already been through that. Everything's under control from yesterday and today. That's the very first task of the day. Then the next thing is to get hydrated. So this is going to document my own bodybuilding as well as the coaching, because these are kind of going in tandem here. Well, it's more about the coaching, to be honest, but I've got to lead from the front, so I've got to keep control of myself as well. So for my thing, the first thing of the day is hydrating. Then the next thing would be going over and doing cardio. So I've got Zone Gym very close to me. That'll be 5 minutes away. I'll be in there on the bike and doing cardio. That's for heart health and keep body composition kind of in check. It's also good for my breathing, to keep the sleep apnea at bay, as I've kind of got very large here, and improving oxygen efficiency uptake by doing hard cardio regularly 4 or 5 times a week was what I was doing, has been extremely effective at keeping that at bay, keeping my sleep on point. So all aspects of bodybuilding, keeping things on point, that's what I'm having to do for myself. So that would be the usual task, but today's a leg day. So what I don't do is the cycling like before the leg session on those particular days. So if there's cardio for today, it's going to be after legs. Legs is after I've got all of my work done. So that's how the day's looking. So I'm going to hydrate here, then it's breakfast. I'm going to show some of my meal preps, but not all of them. It'll be another video to do a full day of eating, but this is a full day in the life, and it will show some of the meals and a lot of the work. So a lot of it will be little snippets from the check-ins. Obviously, I'm going to keep my clients' details out of it. It's just going to be snippets with me talking, giving advice where appropriate in check-ins today that I've got. So I'll be getting all of that work done, showing you a bit of the other work that I do on the back end of it all, some of the research, some of the other pieces that I've got to put together. And it'll then include my training sessions, so it'll be highlights of the leg session where I'm going over to muscle works. All being well, if I run out of time, I'll have to go somewhere closer, and that's what we've got in store for today. So if you ever wondered what a day in the life is like for me, this is giving you an overview. Those day trips I've done have been like days out, you know, days with less work on, where I've been able to do the gym tours. There will be more of those in the future, but this is showing you a bit more about what I do, so you can get to know me as I'm getting to know some of you from the comments, which has been very helpful because it's helped me streamline what kind of questions people have, what kind of content is going to be useful for everyone else's journey out there. And the first task that I've got to get on with now is posting on Instagram. That's something I've put more attention into lately, is putting myself out there on Instagram as well as I have on YouTube. So what I've got going on here, I've got a spreadsheet of all of, it's in here somewhere. Yes, I've got a spreadsheet and I've got a box file where I'm keeping all of the short form content. So there's going to be something going out today, and I've got this planner of all the useful things that can be summarized in a 2-minute video, which is on the Instagram reels. So you know, these are my longer videos where you see my full workouts and everything that I'm doing, feature episodes and interviews on the YouTube channel, but keeping it a little bit more streamlined and polished for the Instagram is what I have to do. So it's going to be carrying on with the 2-minute instructionals, the summaries there. So it's all got to look tidier on there, because Instagram is a little bit more like your CV, whereas what I do on YouTube is more, you know, just going with the flow. It's kind of, I hope it's kind of how it would be if you were just hanging out with me and we were going to the gym, how I've been doing the YouTube. So I'm carrying on like that, and I've got loads of these prepared already. So get on the Instagram account. It's Physique Philosopher as well, just one word, Physique Philosopher. And the last one that I put out was about ester weights and steroids. So I do talk about all the PED side of things on here, and that'll be another task for me later today. Usually I do it after breakfast, like the medicating myself, because you know, I'm not exactly completely natural. I've been fairly fairly out there about that, but I started with a bang on these reels with talking about the strongest steroid esters. So that's the reel that's on my Instagram. The first one that I made. The next one to go out, I was going to go out today. I was going to put something out there. I got pieces on uncooked weights. I got one about SARMs rarely being used, which is kind of a summary of the SARMs video that I put on YouTube a few weeks ago. If you didn't see that, I talked all about SARMs, and I actually shared some secrets about how certain ones have not been discovered by WADA yet. So if you don't know what WADA is, you don't know what these secrets are, have a look at that long YouTube video. But I've summarised my view on such things, as people ask me regularly, and that's going into an Instagram reel now. So I'm going to be posting that just now before I get onto breakfast, while I remember. So I just found it. It's in the shared folder that I've got here, so that I've got everything that I need to put out on my phone is shared with the computer. So I'm just downloading that piece now. If you want to see the full thing, make sure you get on the Instagram, Physique Philosopher. And then at some point later this week, I'll have to film a batch more of them. I've got a good handful ready to go, but of this whole list I planned out, there's nearly 50. So that's the content marketing. So I'll be back in the gym when it's empty, filming some of those to make them look nice for Instagram. So that's going out. So the first phase of work is done. I've got that reel out that you can see on Instagram. Dealt with a couple of questions that come in from that, and had first check-in of the day. So first check-in is with a newer client, and he needs tidying up basically. So in terms of body composition, tidying up a little bit before we get into the growing phase. So he's lost over 1 kilo, and he's getting into the plan. So it was fairly straightforward sort of check-in, and now it's time for meal one. So I thought I'd show you this. I'll do the full day of eating and the cooking one like soon enough, but this is basically 7 egg whites, 3 whole eggs as well, and then I had 6 slices of toast, and these are just the last 2 of 6 with the blueberry conserve on there. So I'm going to eat this while I get ready for the second check-in. The second check-in is a competitor, and we're getting to the very end of the off-season program before switching over into contest prep. So it's quite a critical one for me to take a little bit more time to prepare and have my ideas in mind to discuss with the client there. So I'll share some highlights from that. I just thought I'd show you breakfast for meal one as I'm working here. So most of the meals that I'm having in the house I'm doing while working. So I've just been dealing with some questions that come in from that reel. So the reel was about SARMs, and someone immediately asked, do you know where to get good quality, like SARMs, like from the pharmacy, like pharmaceutical grade? And I had to explain that you don't ever come across pharmaceutical grade SARMs or SARMs in a pharmacy, because they're not approved or used in human medicine at all. They're sold as nutritional supplements or research chemicals, not for human consumption, on the internet, and basically as such there's no guarantees of quality or value for money at all. So yeah, the downsides of SARMs, and that's gone out in that reel. So that's what we've been dealing with while getting ready for this next check-in. So I'll sync this, get my preparation done, and the next segment will be some highlights from my advice in that check-in. So I'm all fresh again. I've had my shower, I have medicated, just test E in case you're interested. Keep it simple, keep it effective, but that's good for me. And now I've just been reviewing everything that I need for the next check-in. So my next check-in is a client who's a men's physique competitor, and he's come a long way since we started the program. And basically it's a very important check-in because very soon we're going to be changing directions on this into the cutting down. So I want to find out exactly which of the foods that are in his set diet and meal plan he's got the most fed up of, so that I can move away from those where possible. I've got all of his data, he's sent everything through, and I've reviewed his exercise videos, his lifts, and all of his stats and measurements, and I've got enough info to work with except the input from him personally on his preferences, so that I can take that away and start constructing the altered diet that we're going to switch to for cutting down. And as I don't want it to be burdensome, I want to work with foods that he's preferred more recently and eliminate ones that he's absolutely sick of, having been on the same meal plan for quite a while. So that's what I'm looking to get from him. I'll just be joining a call. It's a video call, this one, so you're just going to see me, just the input from me on all of these that I'm showing for today, as I want to keep my clients' privacy, but some of the advice that I'm giving may be interesting to you, and see the kinds of things that I deal with on a check-in. So I'm going to start that call in a moment. From seeing how you're looking at the moment, I'm very, very sure you've progressed a long way, and you're looking really good. It's looking particularly full in your shoulders, your arms, your chest. You know, it's all key areas for the category that you're in. But I've got all of your stuff that you've sent through today. I've been through all of it, and I'm perfectly happy with how your training's going. I can see that obviously your performance and intensity is leagues beyond where you started at the very beginning of the program. And that's reflected in the changes that we've seen. You put on an awful lot of mass for the time that there's been. So it's basically the measurements that I've got here, all the stats that I've got here that you've sent through, that I'm going to work with in the coming days for the replans. So most of this check-in is to get from you the information that I need to make that as effective and practical and, you know, able to be followed like by you as possible, as pain-free as possible. So basically, just to outline like where we're going with this, for the criteria of the class and the federation that you're in, it's not super shredded for this. It's like very ripped, but not quite into super shredded. So what I have in mind, obviously it'll go by how you look, and I'll take pictures from you and take a look at you in person to make sure we're on track. But very roughly speaking, we're looking at a 5mm maximum skin fold on all those key sites. 5mm, yeah. So where you're at now, and for us to be ready in time, I'm aiming to take off about 1mm a week. And that'll result in the muscle separation and definition that they're looking for, the waistline coming in, all of the things that are going to make the final finished look, about 1mm a week. And if it is much slower than that, then I'll be making changes to speed it up. If it's going faster than that, then I'll actually be trying to slow it down, because the slower we do this, the less risk of muscle loss there is as we come in. And that'll have you ready a couple of weeks early, which will give us time to test out certain depletion load protocols, all of that sort of thing. And that's basically, I just wanted to tell you all of that so that you know exactly, you know, how this is being monitored and what we're looking at and how it's going to work and the time frame that we're working with, and how the overall strategy looks like from a high level. So that's all of that. I've also gone away and looked into like what shorts will give you. So I've been back to the contest videos from the Fed that obviously you'll be in. I've zoomed in and I've seen that the winner of the Open and the second place, they've got the same brand shorts on. It's that one that I found yesterday, the Vaso ones. So I'm going to send you their profile, but don't have a browse, see what colours, see what styles you like, but don't buy anything just yet, because your measurements and your size is going to change quite a lot over the next 14 weeks. So like, don't want you wasting your money or having to have them like excessively altered or anything like that. So we'll be you know, making the right choice, but that's where we're going with that. So that's all under control as well. So how are you feeling at this stage? We're going pretty much straight in. We're doing a transition into it this week. So basically, Yeah. We are changing over now, like, because we've got 14 weeks, and this is a good amount of time with how you're looking and what I can do at what rate that we're transitioning over now. But it doesn't have to be an exact day that it changes over, but it's going to be in the coming days. But basically today, I take everything from you that I need to reconstruct the plan to be taking you in a fat loss direction. The diet will change week by week. Like the whole thing will look different in the coming days from the input that I take from you. So our mission for this week is to get it changed over. But what it will look like at the start of the prep is not exactly how it will look at the very end of the prep, because I'll make adjustments along the way to keep it rolling in the same way that I did on the way up. So it will start working like immediately, but there will be points where it either works too quickly or too slow, and it's kind of, they call it landing the plane, so it's coming in at the perfect pace, and we're going to adjust it week by week to pace it like that. So we are changing over in the coming days, which is basically me taking the info I need from you to construct. I've got most of the info that I need anyway. It's more like around your preferences that I take today to go away and rebuild it, and that'll be like week 1 cut. And then obviously, check-ins just like before, except that I'm taking you in the other priority direction, the fat loss direction rather than the muscle gain direction. So basically, we're in a really good spotlight for doing this, and this is the time scale that we need, and it's all been perfect timing with what you've seen yesterday. You now know like what the required kind of level kind of looks like in real life, which is nice. And it's basically, I want to take from you the foods that you've enjoyed the most in the building and the foods that you've enjoyed the least in the building, and so I can take all of that into account. So if you can like relay to me what you've enjoyed most and least out of the most recent versions of plans that we've had. Okay, when it comes to cuts of other meats, so we're saying less poultry. So like, is there any particular cuts or styles of like beef that you prefer? No, don't you worry yourself.
All right, okay.
Don't you worry yourself with the methods. I just want like I just want what your palate prefers, like not the methods. I'll do all the methods. That it depends which cut you see. So like, people will always think of like, oh, the lean ones are like the fish and the poultry, and the fatty ones are like the red meat. But not really. Like if you're comparing like silver side or top side when it comes to beef to something like mackerel, like on fish, the mackerel got way more fat. The things like silver side and top side are almost as lean as your chicken breast.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's for me to engineer a diet that's going to work, but based around your preferences, because that makes it easiest for you to follow. That makes it as palatable and as enjoyable and easy for you to follow to get us through the prep. Because obviously, these things take time. We're looking at the next 14 weeks, and
Yeah.
that's my job to make it workable for you. So don't worry, nothing's set in stone. It can always change back. It can always change back, mate. Like if you get to like week 8 in the prep and you're sort of like, week 8, I'm bored of that now. Like, I'm finding this a hassle to prepare. Is there anything we can do, Sam? I'll just go back to the drawing board and rework it, rebaseline, and like remeasure from there, and we'll keep it moving. And is there anything on the training side you've been sick of? Yeah, I mean, legs still counts. It's only in the NPC contests and IFBB that they've officially said that they're not judging the legs, but elsewhere, like I think they're part of the look. Like I wouldn't neglect them completely, and
Sure.
we're gonna get your shorts fitted to show off that you've got good legs. Just hinting at
Yeah.
the bottom there, because look, if it's on stage and it's visible, like they can't help but notice whether they think they're
Yeah.
judging it or not. So we've got that.
Mm.
Yeah, like you're unlikely to be gaining much. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but we haven't got measuring methods accurate enough to tell exactly. Like if you were going to spend the kind of money it would cost to get on a DEXA scan like every week, we could know exactly like how much muscle is lost like during a cut down phase, or
Yeah.
exactly what tiny bits more were gained like before the fat really started coming off like every week by week. But it's too costly and impractical to do that. So what we're doing instead to monitor these things is for measuring preservation of the muscle. We've got the tape measurements and the gym performance. For measuring the performance of the fat reduction, we've got the skin fold calipers, and the overall picture is the body weight, but that's the least precise of the methods. And I basically take all of those measurements as different signposts of the whole picture, and something in my experience, like something will flag up to me, like if there's a problem that we're going too fast or too slow. We have to do it though. Like if it means losing some muscle to get you in the stage condition that you need to be in, then that's what it'll have to be. But you'll have the experience of feeling a bit smaller, like walking around as your clothes get looser. That's just something you mentally have to deal with. But I promise you, you'll look the best you've ever looked by the time you got to the end of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, mate. Like even me as like very enhanced, like I lose about an inch off my arms from off season to stage day. Just
Mm.
happens, but there's no getting around it. That you have to be in at least good condition.
Yeah.
There are like levels where you can take it too far, where you've got more shredded than is actually helping you, because you would have been the most shredded in the class like anyway, and getting any more shredded than that just makes you look too sucked down and
Yeah.
smaller.
Indeed.
That can happen, but that's not a risk with the criteria that we're working with for your contest, because they don't want you like completely peeled. They just want to see like all muscle separation and definition and quality, but not like striations upon striations and veins all over the place. So
Right.
we don't need to take you into the territory where muscle loss is more obvious,
Right.
more prominent. So don't, you will lose what feels like size, but a lot of the size that you're losing like wasn't muscle anyway. Like we all kind of think we got more muscle than we've actually got, and then what's really there is what's revealed when you've got it all the way down. So like
Yeah.
me at my weight these days, it's not like nearly all muscle or anything like that. And I would, it's a big change doing a contest prep, but the end result will be awesome. And I know you've followed very diligently everything that we've done on the way up. I have every confidence that you're capable and can do what's required to do this. But I'm going to make it as easy as possible and be as supportive as possible by making the plan out of foods that suit you best, check in on you regularly, see how you're feeling, take a look at you in person as well, take a look at the posing, because you've got to be practicing that more often now. I know we've already got it in place, but we can keep working on that now, and I'm very excited for it actually. If anything else is a problem on that, I need to know. But that was less essential really for today's meeting.
What
Cardio may need to
Okay.
increase.
Right.
May Cardio may need to increase, but that's just one of the tools in the toolbox. If you're losing the body fat at the required rate without high cardio, then I'm not going to put it in for the sake of it. It's for me to monitor where you're at with the time that we've got and deploy the methods in a suitable way to make it work for on the day. So that may involve more cardio. Next up is meal two while I'm doing a bit of work here. So this is the main lunch. And I cook all this chicken and rice as a batch for the whole day, which will be half a kilo of uncooked weight rice, the jasmine rice, and a kilo uncooked weight of the chicken. And then it takes me 2 or 3 meals to get through it all. So it's not the same number of meals per day, but the same amount per day, as that's the most important factor. So this is half of it here. And with my massive eating in a building phase, it always takes this bowl rather than a plate to contain all that food there. So that's going down while I do a bit of work. That check-in from before was going nicely. It's very straightforward when you've got someone committed to contest, and they'll do whatever it takes. But as will hopefully be shown, my methods would be to make it as manageable as possible. So taking the details on the preferences of the client there. So that was last check-in, and I'm doing a bit of work now over lunch on a guide to training splits. So this guide to training splits includes all the usual stuff like push-pull legs and body part splits and upper-lower, and explaining the pros and cons of each and some examples of each. I'm getting into hybrid ones now and weak point training in this little guide. So I've been refining that this weekend and doing a bit of work on it while I eat now before I do any more check-ins. Also doing a little bit of research around some medications that I haven't had as much awareness of. That's taking place while I'm sat here at the desk as well, and the next segment I expect will be another check-in. So after plenty of work there, the next thing is for me to take a little walk. Now I always do this to the food shop just because it's a task that needs to be done anyway, and I don't stock for the whole week because I like the food fresher if I buy it day by day. And that gives me an opportunity here. I'll step out for 10 minutes, get a bit of fresh air, help me work better when I get back to it and concentrate a bit more, and also a quick walk now and then is good for digestion. And as you're beginning to see, I have to eat rather a lot for me to keep making progress. So I've got the fish that I need, I've got all of the chicken that I need, I've got all the rice, I've got the veggies that I need, I've got the eggs that I need. But I am tripping out to get some fresh food pretty much every day to give me that walk, to aid the digestion, and a little break to clear my head and keep my work on point. So of course, find what I'm going to be buying, which it'll be steaks. It'll either be sirloin or ribeye. I don't get too strict on it in off season of like which kind it's going to be, but it's just one steak with 6 eggs on the last meal, and it's usually the sirloin. It depends what they've got, so we'll see what they've got in there. Didn't film in there, I was a bit busy, but mission is accomplished, and I got both in the end. So I've got my ribeye, that's probably what I'll have tonight. It's been a couple of weeks since having those. And the sirloin I got, look how much fat is on this. It's normally a leaner cut, but look at that monster. You know, it's like, I'm not worried about fat and calories. I'll explain that at length on another video, that I don't really work by calories that closely. I'll sort of check someone's basal metabolic rate to sense check things that they're eating enough, basically, but I don't really try and work things by calorie deficits, that's for sure. But that's a longer topic that's in some of the other videos, and I'm actually going to continue my walk here because I want a longer walk than just across the road. You see, it's very convenient where I'm based. I'm in North London here, and where I'm at, everything's basically on the doorstep, so I never really have to walk far to get what I need. So I'm going to make it a little bit of a round trip to the gym and just socialise, see who's about. So the next segment will be at the gym, but not for training. I arrived at the gym for break time, and this is my local down the zone. So treat the place like a cafe sometimes. So I do about a third of my training here. I know everyone here, and it seems everyone's in. It's Bank Holiday Monday, and everyone's thinking to come to the gym. I seem to have arrived at a peak sort of time, so I don't want to get too distracted from my work. It's just a quick break, but already this morning, basically, done 3 check-ins. Started some work on that cutting plan for one of the clients there. Been doing some further research into some medicine and whether it may affect the endocrine system or not. Bit of work on those reports on the training splits that I was mentioning earlier. And that's about it so far. So that's an okay amount of work. I need to keep up with the meals, obviously. I've had 2 rather large ones, and it'll be time for the next one pretty soon. Carrying on with a bit more work, and I've just checked that as it's Bank Holiday Monday, I've just been on the phone to Muscleworks to check that they're open later, because I don't know what time I'll arrive if they're doing legs later. But they're open all day, all night, except for Christmas Day. So I've got that. So that's all booked in, that's all planned in. I'm just keeping on top of questions here, even though it's my break. I had a couple of things come in. That reel about the SARMs that I put on Instagram has already started an interesting line of questions. It's almost saying that he'd got hold of some SARMs that his friend had claimed turned up in a Mexican pharmacy. I wouldn't like to comment on what you could find in a Mexican pharmacy, but I've done my best to explain SARMs both on that quick Instagram reel and also on a longer video on YouTube. But just hanging out at the gym here, and if you did want to see the full tour of this place and all of the other gyms that I use and places that I highly rate in London, check out the playlist of gym tours. That's also on the channel. And yeah, that's just part of what I had to do with all of this. The content side has been maintaining this channel, so that would be one of the more useful pieces, particularly if you're based in London, to look at all those gym tour videos. But the places that I'm most regularly at are my local zone, my main one from years ago, Bodyworks at Tottenham, and then Muscleworks at Balance Road, Bethnal Green, and also their Stoke Newington branch. And then I also go to Pumping Iron fairly regularly, Pumping Iron at Arnos Grove fairly regularly now. Those are my cluster where I'm based here in North London. But all the other gym tour videos I've done are places that I highly rate in London or close to London, but I will be getting out further afield for that. So I've been making plans towards some trips out, which would be like day features that I would have to schedule in to be full videos of a day trip and schedule that in with my other work like check-ins and research and writing. That all forms part of the job basically. And the other thing that I'm planning at the moment was perhaps doing a podcast, because while I like being on video here, I have had some of you mention that you'd like longer sections of me talking that you could just have on the car and there be no video element that you're needing to follow along to it. So I did consider the podcast there. So I've been thinking about how I would do that, what the schedule would be and topics and stuff like that. But as you know, I put out loads on YouTube. It's now really releasing the shorter segments that I'm making deliberately for Instagram. So that's the other part of the work that's continued today. And I'll be back for the next meal in a minute. I just come out of the gym thinking about that next meal, and it's starting to rain a bit, so instead I'm going to check out zone recovery upstairs and use the massage chair, because why not? Most of the check-ins are done. There's no appointments yet, and I know that the other gym for leg day is open for the rest of the night, so I've spontaneously decided it's time for another trip upstairs into zone recovery, which was featured and described all of the facilities that they've got there in a separate episode. So there is a designated episode on that if you want the lowdown on all the stuff that they've got in there, because they've got like sauna and cryotherapy and all exciting things like that I've never tried before. But what I do like very occasionally is the massage chairs. This is not like the full sports massage treatment that I'd get from Ruta. There was also an episode further along before in the channel. This is just a quickie basically, but it's well worth it. It's kind of like you're getting a massage through almost all of your body, which you wouldn't be able to do otherwise unless you hired like 6 people. So if I remember rightly, it's just up here, 2nd floor, Unit B. Here we go. So it's all new, this. But I've visited a few times and I rate it very highly. And it's part of my local on the doorstep there, so I'm going to get all settled in. I'm just settled in this thing now, but I will have to lose it as it tips back, and I put my arms in as well, so it does your forearms as well as your back, your glutes, your legs, and it's going to extend out at the bottom and even does my calves at the same time, and your feet. So it's very thorough, but it's obviously not individualised to any kind of areas that you've got problems with, need extra work. It's just general massage here, so I'll be back in a second after a little snooze on this. So I feel all limbered up after that lovely chair massage down at Zone Recover. Was not expecting to be doing that, but that was a nice treat for today's interlude. So that would be my half-time break, and now it's back to work. And I've just reviewed a check-in, and this check-in we're not doing the call. Scheduling a time is not convenient to my client here. So this one's just a video recording one that I'm putting on. So this is the feedback. Here we go, because he's sent all of his details in. Hello, mate. Thanks for sending all of that through. I have reviewed it, and I'm just making the video as I sit here with it now. So you've probably been through yourself and compared this to the previous weeks and even months, and this is actually the furthest ahead that you've been. So in those measurements, I've really noticed that your chest has come up even in the measurements now, and this is your heaviest body weight for this gaining phase. So really, I can take it that unless you tell me otherwise on the diet side, everything is absolutely fine. Obviously, if you do need adjustments and certain things are things that you're fed up with and you want adjustments or alternatives or switch arounds, do let me know and I'll plan that in for you. But this is ticking away nicely, as you've probably seen. Body fat is still kind of like crept up ever so slightly, but it's not unacceptable kind of level. We'll need to get a set of pictures done like pretty soon, I would suggest. Or we take a look at you where possible. So it's all going well, and obviously what we changed the most last time was the training that you're doing, because you're now using a different gym. So I rewrote that, and there were fairly minimal changes, but just made the order clear there. So I hope that made sense to you, basically. So I'm going to assume that since you've reported no problems, that has made sense and there's been no difficulties with those exercises. I hope you found the one in Dow that was the dipping press machine. That was a particularly good one that you got access to there that you wouldn't have otherwise. And I think if you got any problems like with any of those, just feed back to me on a voice note or send me a message. I'm assuming that you managed to get all of the sessions in as well, as you've recovered from when you were ill the week before last, and therefore everything should be fine. Do let me know how it's going with work. You did mention that you've got more help at work coming, so if that's like starting to take off the load, we need to revisit the conversation about changing the training split to giving you more days in to keep this progressing. But that's not urgent, that's just for you to reconsider, so do let me know on that. So without any other problems raised, that was everything that I had to say, and I want you to, just update me on how things have gone with work and where we're in a position to reschedule this to a 4-day program, as that would be beneficial. But not urgent, it's for you to consider now, and hope you're having a good bank holiday weekend there. All right, take care. Working away on that report on the training splits again before the next check-in, and the next meal is going in. So this time I've got sea bass, 2 fillets, so a whole fish, and cream of rice, strawberry cheesecake flavour. Now I used to combine my fish and cream of rice, trying to make it just squishy all together and hide the taste of fish, but it was still a bit weird, so I've gone back to separating them, and I just actually like the taste of sea bass, so I'm quite happy with that on its own. But eat those separately, and this one come out a little bit more like a dessert, so I usually finish up on that. So that's the next meal here, while I'm getting this draft of this report on training down. But for the next check-in, it's going to be a little bit more in depth and a little bit more personal, so I'm not going to want to be putting all of that into today's video. So the next segment, there's a check-in, which I think could be the last check-in of the day. I'll have to just double check myself. But when I have that segment coming up, it'll just be my initial feedback, and then I'll have to be getting into it for a little bit longer to set things on the right course. And then we've got a couple of other inquiries to deal with here. But yeah, it's basically a desk job, and I'm getting really in the mood for the training later, so that is coming up. I know I can do that full leg day, and they've got all the pieces that I don't have down here, like the squat press and the V squat and well, the side X hack squat, the heavier one, which I like the angle and the placement of the foot piece for that. So that's what's going to be utilised later. So we'll be well fed and well ready for that. I'll just sink this down and get ready for the next check-in. Hey, how's it going? Right, I was looking at like the head and the shoulders there. Like, really, it looks like you caught the sun there. Anyway. So I've obviously, you know, I replied straight away when you sent the check-in details through, because they're a massive gain. They're ridiculous gains, like on the, you know, measurements, body weight wise. It seems that obviously the changes that I put in for back width and really focusing on weighted pull-ups and the iso lat pull down on heavy has really, you know, shown itself both in how you look from when I've taken a look at you and your measurements on the chest. And that's really great to see, because I think, you know, we're in that phase where everything's working systemically, and it's time to take that opportunity to look at all of the different parts of your physique and where the little bits that could be improved to be as good as the best bits could be clicked in with reordering the training to suit those needs. And that's what we've done with the back width. And so as soon as possible, I want to take a look at you again, like from top to toe, to see that in this moment where everything's working systemically, what to reshuffle and work on next to get the most out of this phase. So very well done. That is like one of the best sets of check-in details that we've had so far, and means that, you know, I'm pretty confident that you must be following the plan on the diet side. I know you are from the training, from the videos that you put on, and whenever I catch you around. So that's good. So it's really just setting this stuff with you know, lifestyle in general. I'm finally back out to go for this leg session down at Muscle Work. So this is a little bit of a journey for me. Not too far, it's just down in Bethnal Green, down on Balance Road, this big one. All upstairs pretty much on legs. But since that last segment there, I was just getting another meal in, which was the same as the second meal. It was the chicken and the jasmine rice, and managed rather a lot of that while watching a bit of YouTube. So that's a little bit of downtime and dealing with a few inquiries. So I had a couple of inquiries for coaching, was sat there. Oh, I've just come through. I wouldn't leave them sat there. I'm keen to work with you guys, so they just come through, and I was just going through a bit how I work, like on those, talking through how I do the check-ins and what measurements are required and what goals I will or won't work towards there. So that's a couple of guys thinking about who their next coach will be, but want to postpone until after work and holidays kind of thing, which makes sense. I feel like you shouldn't really start the coaching program until you're ready to completely follow it and get the most out of it, because you can only get the most out of it if you put the most into it. You can only get 100% of what a plan can deliver if you follow it 100%, so you've got to be in a position to do that. So always appreciate that, and I'm always open to answering questions before that point where someone is ready, to help make them decisions, help them make their decisions around what's the best approach and where they're going with it. So that's what was going on just there, and that forms part of most days as well, dealing with inquiries like that. And I'm almost at the tube now, so I shall see you at Bethnal Green for this leg session. And I made it here, so I'm looking forward to this session. I'll take a quick tour of upstairs, as it's part of a longer video, but just to show you all the leg stuff they've got, and just my workout as well as any walk I go on. It's nice to get out of the house, because this is all like based online what I'm doing. I don't want to go crazy just in the house. Those four walls go stir crazy like in the lockdowns and all that rubbish. So it's nice to be out, and I'm going to feel much better for training. But I found myself feeling a little bit tired, so I've got a pre-workout to get a little bro buzz going before this heavy leg session. It's not usually my thing because sleep is much more important, but I haven't got anything urgent first thing in the morning, so it doesn't matter if my sleep is a little bit delayed. I could get a little bit more work done when I'm in. I really do want to finish those documents, but got waylaid with inquiries and check-ins, as you saw, but I can do it because there's not a time that I have to be to bed, so I can do that after the session. Video editing will have to wait, but it means there's no rush for this workout here. I can take as long as I need, and legs is priority for me, so it's landed on a good day to show that, because I've got a lead from the front with everything that I'm doing, because I still do the bodybuilding myself. As you probably know if you're a subscriber to this channel, I've been doing lots of workouts and took my body weight all the way up to 300 pounds, which was in that other series. I'm coming in at about 288, 290 at the minute, my own body weight. But I continue to grow, continue to stick with it. Legs is priority, and I got the most kit for it here. You'll be looking at Cybex hack squat, looking at squat press, looking at possibly leg press, possibly V squat as well. And they've got a whole room of isolation kit. I'll be ready for it very shortly. And this is the realm of the leg training. As you can see, we've got it all. All of this room is leg compounds. So you've got loads of racks, loads of machines, and well, I say we, it's actually just me. I'm not training with anyone else today, but we get in the habit of saying we when we, I've done it again, when we're doing a lonely job like this, mostly online. But this is what I'm starting with, the Cybex hack squat, which I've always found the most challenging of all of them. It's just a very heavy carriage and tough angle, but it suits me real good. So in the interests of brevity of the whole video, for this workout it's just going to be the top sets, and I'll wrap it all up at the end. Okay, 4 plates per side on the Cybex here. This one is a bastard. Put another 10 on each side, and I can try a touch heavier and get at least a few reps here. went there for that one. Fucking hell. All yours, let's get a couple more. 7 there. 8, all yours. All yours still. Come on. Yes, yes, yes.
I'm used to this gym. Do you think that hack squat is better or this one?
That one's harder. Yeah, the Cybex one's harder because the carriage is very heavy and the angle is tough, yeah.
You think it's better?
Depends on your body. It's very good for me because I'm a bit taller than most, so having a platform the platform's basically better for me than a lot of the other ones.
I don't think I'm getting enough depth on this as well.
Hey?
I don't think I'm getting enough depth. Like I'm hitting the bottom before.
You're touching the bottom on it. Do you want to try this with just the carriage?
Okay, yeah,
You might as well try it while you... Do you not normally train here?
No.
Bro, I might as well try it out.
In Paddington. It starts in soft away.
Here, pop that on there just so you got something to feel on each side's equal. I used to live near Paddington.
Yeah, it's far.
Yeah, it's far, mate. There's no good gyms down there. Not like this, anyway. This here, you unlock it there. Push it outwards. So you get your shoulders in first, push up. Yeah, sorry, step out. I've got it's because from me it's on the higher pins. There's a pin here and a pin here. So if I pop it down for you, you push up, twist those out, and then so if I pop it there for you. Oh. It is much lower, yeah. That's only one plate on each side. It's feel quite heavy, right? It's awkward for you. Like that pin would be a bit low for you, and that's a bit high.
Yeah.
But it's a great machine.
Okay, as long as I get like a squat.
Yeah. It's a great machine. Like I use a different gym for each body part, so I come here for legs. Yeah, I come here for legs mainly because of this piece.
Okay.
I like this one. I like the squat press as well.
And do you think the pendulum squat is better than this? The pendulum squat. Would you prefer this over?
I prefer this to a pendulum. Yeah, the quad focus. Both of those movements are really good. The pendulum I find makes my knees super achy. I'm more accustomed to hack squats, so it's kind of what you're used to as well. You don't need to learn like every exercise, you just need to progress.
Are you competing though?
I'm more coaching. I have competed a lot of times, but I'm full-time.
I'm 17, I'm hoping to get into.
Oh, yeah.
I'm only 17.
You're hoping to get into like competing in that?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
I have videos I can show you.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Bear in mind it is a bit difficult because of money. I don't have like the money for supplements and stuff. This is me when I was 17. I'm still 17, but when I just turned 17.
Oh yeah.
I have another.
You look great there, mate. You look
I'm
fantastic.
16.
You look fantastic, mate. You look fantastic for any age.
Appreciate it.
You started at a good age. I started training when I was 17, but I'm 37 now, so I mostly coach people. That's what I do. I'm just starting, so probably 3, 4. Do you want to work in with me?
I'm going to consider
I'll move it.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah, move it between sets. Yeah, I'll make it 3 sets, and yeah, we'll be all right. So next up, the top set on the belt squat. It's another one where I get much more knee flexion. It's great for my quads. So I'm putting it back up to my top weight. Ordinarily, I've been doing this when I've worked on belt squats first in the routine, but pushing things today is priority training right now. Nice. And that there is the highlights of the leg session. I'm really happy with that, but always training as best I can. And for this session, it wasn't the full workout. This is the topic of the video is the full day online coaching, of which this is just a part. So not the full workout there, just the highlights. So I hope that illustrated what my workouts look like. Well, the best bits of them, normally it's all of it, including the miserable sets, and I am finishing up on the cardio as promised earlier. So in a usual day, this will be first thing, but as it's a leg day, and that's super priority for me in my development, I don't want anything to interfere with full intensity on the leg training, full and smashment of the quadriceps, and hamstrings and calves. But as you saw in that workout, for me, there's no barbell squats. I've done them for an entire off season in the past as my primary exercise, and I just ended up with more development on the glutes and less on the quads, and that's not what I need. I need exercises where I get more knee flexions. That's why I go with hack squats, squat press, belt squats as priority. And with anyone else's training program, I'm looking for weak areas and their relative limb lengths, their height, their general build, and what might be better recommendations for exercises in their routine based on that to produce the desired results. So I believe that only cookie cutter plans are good if you're a very beginner and just need to learn a variety of movements covering the whole body, getting them out of a book. If you're working with a coach, it should be individualized with your experience taken into consideration, any injury history taking into consideration, relative limb lengths, strengths and weaknesses, everything taken into consideration, and find the movements that are effective for targeting all those areas, especially the weak areas, baselining it, much like you baseline your diet, and tracking for improvement by taking all measurements of the muscle girth in the legs, arms, chest, calves, etc., and adjusting where something's lagging, something's not progressing as much as the rest, or there are weak points. So a little bit more about how I work, and we'll hopefully make some of those check-ins make more sense and sort of see what's behind why we're making good progress on all of those there. I've had a couple more to catch up with on the phone, so there's not really any days off or any stop with this kind of thing. I've had a couple more queries like come in, one late check-in, which will be a video response later and knocked on to tomorrow. But I'm always making sure that I'm following up on everything, keeping track of everyone and supporting where I can. And in the gym here, leading by example with hard training. And then this cardio stuff is more of a sort of health thing, cardiovascular and energy from oxygen uptake efficiency. It's improving my sleep, it's improving the breathing. So in the whole holistic system of bodybuilding, where you've got recovery and sleep and major parts of the picture, that sort of interplays with the training where you're doing things like cardio to assist that. So it's always keeping an eye on all aspects of it, but they're all supporting each other, and you get that synergy between everything you're doing. But I'll stop waffling now. I need to pedal harder and I won't be able to talk, so I'm going to get on with it and reconvene at the end of this for what we're wrapping up on today's work. No doubt it'll be more Instagram inquiries and messages and a bit more about how clients are getting on and what I'm doing with these late check-ins and so on and so forth. So back in a second for all that. That's it here. I feel good for it though. So just waiting for the tube back, and I'm at Whitechapel Station. That's the quickest route for me here. And what's awesome about this place is they've got a lift down to the platform, and after leg day, that's really appreciated. I'm like waddling all over the place. I got the chafe edge going on. Like, I mean, maybe you don't want to know about this, maybe a little bit too much information, but the legs now with the size on and getting all sweaty from the leg session, they rub together and like the skin nearly comes off. So anything that assists my journey, like a little lift here at this station, is much appreciated. And now it's time to go back home and do a bit more work. There's more work to describe, so stick with it, because I'm talking about all the stuff I'm doing for my clients here, especially the pre-contest stuff. So, back in a sec. So I'm all settled back. I had another meal on the way back. That was my post-workout. That was another chicken and rice. No need for you to see that again, because there's been 3 doses of that if you were counting. Obviously you weren't, because it's very boring, but consistency sometimes is. And that's working for me. So I got that in on the way back, and now I'm dealing with some of these late check-ins. So there's 2 of them. The first one, it just needs a little bit of moral support, really, and really like messed anything up. You've made great progress up to this point, but needs a bit of support. So it's a late one. It's a late one that he sent in. So we get back on a video, and it's just going to be a bit of support, really, because he's worked so hard, and I need to support him and let him know that it doesn't need to be a late check-in if he feels like he's screwed it up. So we're going to get into that now. Hello, mate. Thanks for sending everything through. Obviously, you sent it a little bit late, so replies a little bit late, and just got back here. So don't worry about anything. You had a cheat day. It was an occasion. That you've had it just on an occasion and been consistent the rest of the time won't matter. It will start to matter if you start slipping like multiple days, or you know, just lose the habit that you've built up to there, which has all gone very well. So yes, you've slid back a little bit. You needn't worry that you've put on body fat, because the kind of progress that you're in, the kind of state that you're in of depletion, would mean that there wouldn't be enough. You have enough that you're just at storage within the muscles and not come over to gaining fat, most likely. So don't be alarmed by the weight increase. That does happen when you put in a load of carbohydrate and processed food out of nowhere, that you'll see a weight jump up. So I hadn't explained that before, but that's what you can expect to see when you do something like that in the short term. And don't think that this is progress that's permanently unstuck. What you'll see is that settle down over the following days, provided that you completely stick to the plan as it was before the off day, basically. But don't feel bad about the off day. You don't need to do a late check-in because you're worried about what I might think or whatever. I'm never going to be mad about you if you haven't adhered. I'm just going to look to help you get back on track. Anything I can assist with. So as I'm always saying, if there's a problem with the diet that's the set one and the set meals, let me know and I'll rework it. So it's for me to support you. So you needn't worry, I'm never going to be mad about it. It's for me to help you out and keep things progressing. Things have been progressing very nicely. This slip up won't be permanent, provided that you get back to the plan. So let me know if there's any difficulties in getting back to. Don't do extra. Don't worry yourself that you need to be on extra cardio or anything like that. Just do what you got to do to get back to the plan, and let me know if there's anything that's making that a challenge or a difficulty or a meal you're bored of and that needs changing, and I will rework it from all of the data that I've got on this end. And you'll see that that won't be a permanent change. What's changed in the measurements that you've sent through, that will drop off and you'll be back where you were within about 3 to 4 days, provided that you get back on the plan. So we'll do that. Obviously, the other thing that I sent you recently was a stretching routine that's progressing the pain relief. So stick with that. You can progress to the new one. Any questions, let me know on that. And that's all for this time. But as always, let me know if you've got any extra questions. Just shoot me a message on WhatsApp and I'll be straight back to you. So nice one. Don't worry about a thing. Things will get back to normal. It's not a problem if you have a day like that on an occasion, and you don't need to be worried about where I'm going to go with it. You know, it's for me to look after you and support you, and we're making great progress in general, so don't worry about it. Catch you in a bit. Bye-bye. So while that video is loading up, I'm going to have a little interlude here, hey? That's the great thing when you work for yourself and you're working from home. You don't have anyone breathing down your neck, and if you decide it's time for an interlude of any kind, it happens. So this one's for Kevin. Hi Kevin, like you picked up on one of the songs that was in the background on one of the previous videos, so check it out. Hey! Boom. Maybe that should be like the screenshot, the front cover thumbnail for the video. I don't know. Put the guitar in. Wasn't expecting that. Anyway, back to work. I think we should allow these interludes. They keep me in a good mood, a cheerful mood for these client check-ins. And that's what a lot of this is about. It's like keeping people positive. I sort of believe in the soft skills as well as the nerd knowledge behind things, and the facts and the figures. I think a lot of it is the soft skills, and like making someone believe that they can do these things and giving positive reinforcement and all that sort of shit. So the next late check-in, the next naughty one on a late check-in, I can rattle this off because the results are awesome. So here we go. Gives me a little timer lead in on the 3 seconds. Here we go. Alright mate, I'm doing the video as I said I would, ASAP. Obviously sent it quite late evening, but don't worry about that this time. I've had enough time to review it. You've got all of the changes there. Your last measurements were from about like 12 days ago, because obviously we're in the setup phase. You come back to the training, so you had your holiday there, and then the whole plan was implemented, and you'd gone straight onto a set diet. And I was really enjoying seeing your Instagram stories where you'd put all of the meals. I actually screenshotted them because they're very nicely presented. So I've got your meals. I'm watching you like a hawk that you're on that plan. But it's going ridiculously well. I'm looking at the measurements there, and literally inches are going on the chest and the arms, all those muscle measurements, at the same time as the skin fold, indicative of subcutaneous body fat, are going down. You got a millimetre here and there going down on the skin fold calipers, at the same time as you've got inches going on the arms. So yes, you are pretty well trained already, and obviously regaining your physique is sort of quicker than building it in the first place. So that's part of why this is like so quick. But you know you're obviously training hard. I see in your videos that you're in the gym and on it, so all looks under control. Obviously I did get back to you about the alternatives on one or two of those meals that will fit in with your shift work and your arrangements. If there's anything else that's a challenge in the current meal plan, let me know and I'll rework it. Or if more variety and more options are required, then let me know and I'll rework that as well. Because on a gaining program, it does take time, and I'm realistic enough to know that someone can't be eating the same set meals forever. So you do let me know if there's something that's getting boring or inconvenient, and we can have a rethink and work it towards your preferences within reason, of course. And we'll continue to get those results. So I think you'll bounce back to your very best in this plan. It's working tremendously, as you can see from those measurements there. So well done to you for cracking on with it. Things may slow down in a couple of months when you getting into new territory with growth of your physique, and that's when it'll be really worth me getting more honed in on your training plan. Obviously you've gone straight back to the training plan resumed where it was, but once I've taken a look at you in person, which we're going to do as soon as you're over my neck of the woods, I'll take a look at you in person. It's just easier to see it really properly than you sending photos. I don't want you to labour yourself with sending photos like week in, week out, when I can just take a look at you in person when you're over. I can get a little bit more like honed in on what's going to be best with your training, particular adjustments to the splits, prioritise bits that are, you know, not like so naturally the best. Although there's not like anything that's alarm bells at the minute, so don't worry yourself with that. So that's the feedback. It's all great and it all continues, but I don't want to give you nothing to work on, so I think I'll wait on any concerns that you got before I address those, so that we can start, you know, keep moving in this kind of direction. And I hope to see you within the next week or so in person, so that I can make really specific recommendations on the training. And let me know how it's going with the shift work and work in general at the moment, if there's anything we need to consider about like sleep patterns and stuff like that, because it's always in my, you know, I work shifts before myself, it's always more challenging, and if sleep is a problem, like, let me know as soon as possible and we'll rework a few things to assist with that. So well done. Tell me when you got this video and any other questions that I need to consider. I'll be straight on it. Cheers. So that's late check-ins done, and yeah, just a few remarks on some of the calls that took place earlier. I keep reflecting on that because I didn't include all of it in the video because you know, the privacy that sometimes my clients require is paramount. Obviously, they come first over the video entertainment on YouTube. But in spite of the bits that I'm cutting out, just to respect their privacy, I hope it's been insightful for you. And the bits that I have cut out are kind of exciting because some of it's related to contest strategies and the calendar. So you know, some of my clients that compete want to be a little bit more discreet on which shows and which days, so we're leaving that out. But I can say that I'm really excited about it because progress is awesome, and I love a good show. I was at PCA Universe the other day, and I thought it was great. I really love these contests, like seeing everyone's hard work. You know, even if it's not, you know, me competing or one of my guys, like just hard work in general, people that share the same love of this, and I hope it comes across in my videos. So I do really love this, and I love this job, and it's been a good day of work. I think the only thing that would have been good for me to achieve today is getting the report on the training splits that I was talking about earlier finished, but I've really run out of time. It's better to see that on fresh in the morning, so that's what I'm looking forward to doing in the morning. In the morning it will be cardio, because it won't be a leg day tomorrow. I'd never do legs on consecutive days, hopefully, obviously. And so it will be the cardio first thing, whereas today I've done it after legs, so I could do legs on full blast. So that brings me to the end of today. There's just I've got one more meal, but I'm going to save showing that for when I do a full day of eating, because when I do a full day of eating video, I'll show you how I'm cooking these things, so you'll see like how quickly and how conveniently you can put those things together. So it's just one of those steaks I bought earlier and 6 eggs. So that's going to be happening later. That's a key part of my day. But lastly is my reward for all this work today, and particularly the brutal leg day. The very last thing for me is a little treat. It's the Radox muscle soak bath. So that's getting running. Obviously, I'm not getting undressed here because I don't have an upper body pump because it was leg day. So I'm not showing you my upper body after meal 5 just gone down. That would be ridiculous. So this is my treat. That brings me to the end of the video. Any questions about how I work, drop them in the comments. Any questions about anything at all, drop them in the comments. Subscribe if you like all of the bodybuilding content. Share with anyone looking for coaching. And I'll be back online tomorrow. Cheers.